So having set out some challenges for HEIs, before closing, I hope it's not too presumptuous for me to offer a few final reflections on the role of wider government going forward. I think a key role for the HEA, is it DEFRIS, am I saying that right? DEFRIS and DOH, is to take every opportunity to collaboratively champion the Healthy Campus model as a core setting within Healthy Ireland's pursuit of healthy places, as an essential and evidence-informed approach to promoting holistic health, wellbeing and sustainability, and to enhancing student success and the core missions of higher education. Championing will involve using within and across government all three of the Ottawa Charter strategies of advocacy, mediation and enablement to ensure that the Healthy Campus Charter and framework are implemented across the country and supported by evaluative research to generate further evidence of effectiveness. It will also be important to align healthy campuses with other government priorities and policies. It's really promising that the framework is already visible within the Healthy Ireland Strategic Action Plan and the HEA's Corporate Strategic Plan. But my sense in talking with colleagues in the network is that they'd really value guidance on aligning this with other key frameworks, for example on mental health, sexual violence, equality, diversity, inclusion and education for sustainable development. Also, my experience of working in the fields of healthy settings and health in all policies over many years has been that even when health is explicitly mentioned within different sectors' high-level documents, something that's absolutely crucial, there can still be a way to go to achieve real integration and secure a deep-rooted understanding of how well-being is actually interwoven with the core business of those sectors. For example, in the UK, the Healthy Schools movement gained much more leverage and momentum when evidence began to emerge about how the programme impacted not just on health, but on educational achievement. And in the HEA, I know from what was said earlier and from looking online that the Healthy Campus is located within the policy and strategic planning section linked to teaching and learning and student success. So I guess a key kind of question would be, to what extent is the Healthy Campus model beginning to influence the wider teaching and learning and student success strategies? And how can the HEA actively facilitate HEIs to embed health and well-being into the wider curricula of multiple disciplines? Something that it's very easy to kind of put a line in a document, but it's really, really resource intensive and difficult to do. My third reflection is perhaps more controversial, that meaningful healthy campus engagement and action can be best accelerated by issuing some form of mandate. As I've mentioned, the narrative of a mental health crisis among students has in the UK and many countries put mental health high up on the agenda of decision makers, but unintentionally sidelined the wider promotion of holistic health and well-being. This focus has led to ministerial calls that have in effect mandated all higher education providers to sign up to the Student Mental Health Charter, with the calls being clearly linked to student suicide. So having included the implementation of the Healthy Campus Charter and framework within the HEA's Corporate Strategic Plan and Healthy Ireland, I'd really urge government departments to work together to make sure that that broad approach is mandated or at least clearly incentivised, so that there is visible high-level leadership in HEIs, with the Healthy Campus being aligned with and articulated as the appropriate context for implementing more specific work linked to the National Student Mental Health and Suicide Prevention Framework. A further task is to support HEIs not only to implement the Healthy Campus Charter and Framework, but to progress and move forward. And I think that requires a finely tuned sort of balancing act really between nurturing institutions, supporting them and understanding why there might be caution and when things get put on hold because of competing priorities, but at the same time stretching them to go further. And indeed, that might be, as Biddy mentioned, for more to engage and recognising that there is some inequality in terms of the pattern of engagement and the pattern of resources being allocated within those institutions. And And I think the evaluation toolkit that I mentioned earlier, and that you'll hear more from Catherine later, I think it offers a powerful means to help achieve that balance, because it recognises not only that the entry points and catalysts for different institutions will vary, and that their journeys will be individual and often bumpy, but also that by using the self-evaluation tool for internal benchmarking over time, and drawing on the repository to access shared good practice, it's possible to set realistic but ambitious goals and secure meaningful progress. Another reflection is that it might be necessary to upset a few apple carts along the way and cause some disquiet. Mandating HEIs is rarely popular because there's a strong culture of autonomy, but we know that it's often regulation that's achieved the biggest shifts in public health. In the UK, and I'm sure many other countries, there's a strong tendency to equate health promotion with individual responsibility and self-help. The Healthy Settings approach, however, emphasises that individual and community action must be underpinned and supported by wider cross-sector policy, organisation development and advocacy for change. Consequently, as I said earlier, the promotion of health and well-being should quite legitimately focus on areas that may be uncomfortable or be seen to be out with the remit of health. For example, management style, ethical financial investments, the housing crisis, work-life balance, job security and student finance. And finally, but really importantly, I'd urge you to focus on how you can sustain healthy campuses as a long-term cross-departmental government commitment. Healthy campuses is a journey, not a destination, and embedding a commitment to health, well-being and sustainability in ways that achieve a change in culture that infuse the ethos and living, learning and working environments of universities takes time and requires continuing nurture, support, drive and resourcing. This means retaining the visibility of healthy campuses within Healthy Ireland and the HEA's corporate strategic plan, working to make it visible in wider policy, ensuring that tangible outputs such as a self-evaluation tool and repository are seen as dynamic rather than static, with a commitment to maintain, sustain and evaluate and further develop them over time, articulating an inspiring vision into the future, and working with institutions to help them turn engagement into properly coordinated and resourced programmes. I thought it's appropriate to leave you with these words from the Okanagan Charter, which I think still very clearly set out the vision and challenge that we face in mobilising for the future well-being of people, place and planet. Thank you.